Hey guys, welcome back to the Upkeep. This is an interview show that we do after the sessions, and tonight I'm joined by my guest Arthur. How you going, man?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, you going good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, who do you play?
I play Gale, the human druid.
The human druid. Alrighty. And why did you pick druid?
Well, to be honest, something different.
Something
I
different.
haven't played a druid before.
Yeah, you normally just go around. You
I'm normally full casters.
Yeah, I was gonna say something else that you've never dipped your toes into before is stuff like the barbarians and the fighters and all that stuff. You've kind of dipped your toes in for a couple of like sessions during our quarantine and whatnot, but you haven't really ever played a campaign where it lasts more than 10
I just
sessions.
find full casters are just more creative than I'll swing my sword and my turn.
So, one thing that I wanted to ask, how do you think people are going to either like or hate the idea of casting two spells in one turn that I let you guys do?
To be honest, for the longest time, I didn't know you couldn't.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I didn't know that you couldn't cast
Well, I'm pretty sure when
two spells.
yeah, well, I'm pretty sure when we started fifth edition, we were actually doing that.
Yeah, we're doing
Two spells.
two leveled spells. If you had a bonus action level spell and an action level spell.
Yeah. Well, we kind of went back to that, but there is a condition on casting the bonus action spell. Can't use material. Well, it can only if the other spell you cast didn't. So one of the spells can't actually use material unless the material can be cast through like your sword or something like that.
The way I thought it was if you cast a level spell as your action, you can only cast a bonus action cantrip if you have one.
Yeah. So no, the real
Other way
way is it,
around.
but most bonus action spells don't actually need material that I've seen.
Well, not many spells really need to if you have a focus.
Yeah. So do you have an arcane focus actually?
Yes,
Yeah, what is it?
it's a little sapphire gem that when you shine a light behind it, it shows a star map.
Oh, that's actually cool. I didn't know that.
That's a part of the class creation.
Yeah, part of the subclass because you're actually one of the classes that gets a subclass early.
Level 2.
Level 2, yeah, right. Well, the others are waiting until level 3 to get theirs, and they're very eager to do it. Um, Tonight, you actually were the reason why Kathana lived.
Hmm.
What made you do that? Because
Well,
you ran up to go heal.
one, like, she's the first person I met in the campaign, so there's a bit more of a. Okay, I don't want to see that person die yet.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
So, like, I have a bit more of
Humanity.
a connection or common ground with the first person I met compared to the other two that I've like rolled up on.
Yeah, well, in the first session, she was being attacked, and you came up and you defended her, and she actually defended you back.
So
Yeah,
kind of like mutual
she's
respect,
she's
I
the
guess.
only person I really can trust right now, so I'm going to make sure she doesn't die, type thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. The barricade. I want to know this as the DM.
Look, I wanted to move.
I can tell that, and to be honest, either way can go. Well, it can go either way, even if you did leave or you didn't leave. Because if you stay, it means that you do have kind of a better advantage, but you can't really hide where you are. But if you left, there's plenty of routes that you could take, all that stuff. With Magnus actually knowing that it takes about 20 hours or so to get to the mountains, you could have left.
That's exactly it. Like I wanted to move, get to the forest line where we could at least have cover
Mm.
and be somewhat safe. But
And
he just felt I just felt like he didn't want to move.
also during in the forest, your character actually feels natural and comfortable in there anyway.
Purely through my backstory, that I'm very comfortable in forests.
Yeah. Uh, well, that didn't happen, and
No,
now you're
now I'm stuck
on top
on
of
the
a
top
broken tower.
We are Anakin. I have the high ground.
So, so you actually, through the information I gave you off your investigation check when you were on top of the tower, you actually put together a theory based off that, where you believe that it's not just Gnolls that orchestrated all this.
No. I can. My character could see that is this. It wouldn't just be a Gnoll plan. They wouldn't have the intelligence to operate
The
equipment like that.
The only one that seems smart enough is the bigger one.
That one could, but he calling the shots sort of thing, and ran off.
And it takes more than one person to man something like that.
And back before my character ended up where he was
in the Feywilds.
In the Feywilds, because of the attack on this platoon that he was in, he saw that there was humans working with goblins. So stands the reason it could be like humans or another intelligent race
working with the
Gnolls.
Yeah.
The lack of guards in the town. Good point.
Correct. Even though Gnolls, because your character wouldn't know much about Gnolls.
Not about Gnolls.
Except by the showing that you have seen, they haven't been particularly smart.
No, they're just...
But... Thanks. But the way you have actually been noticing everything as well is that Gnolls are hunters. They hunt people and they kill them. The fact is that Magnus believes that there are meant to be more guards in this town than there are. And by you even seeing the weapon rack itself, you notice that not a lot of weapons were taken from the bodies downstairs as well. They discovered that 2 of them didn't actually have weapons. So that could be a well thought theory in itself. So
I just feel like my character has a bit more insight into the situation currently than Magnus.
Yeah. Well, you have the soldier style background, don't you? Survivalist. But I'm guessing you can say it's kind of like a soldier background, with you wanting to join the guard itself back in Trinegarth, where your character's from. Okay, so did you think you were going to win that fight when you entered it?
I feel like we're going to win every fight.
Yeah, it's good. Be confident. Be very confident. You guys won a lot of the older fights in the first campaign.
Yes.
Actually, there wasn't many that you lost.
The team makeup was a lot different then.
Yes. You had healers.
We had people that would one-shot someone almost.
Yeah. You had all this range attacks and all this stuff. This group dynamic that you have now is very different. You're one of the only 2 people that can heal. But you're not dedicated.
No. Also, it seems like at least 2 in the party, the fighter and the paladin, are more headstrong. I'm going to go punch this guy.
Yeah, they are. I could tell because there was a moment that Magnus, instead of chasing the Gnoll, the main one, he could have actually come up to help you because he was at the right position.
He could have made it to the other Gnoll.
And I did point that out, that he heard the Gnoll and saw you. But he chose to make his way and follow the Hobgoblin. And I'm guessing that's because the Hobgoblin was the first one to help him.
Possibly, yeah.
Kind of like the same reasoning on making sure that Cathana didn't die. But yes, it does seem like the headstrong defeat the enemy. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it just definitely means that you've got to kind of keep them out of trouble sometimes when a fight shouldn't be.
I do feel like not being a total support character is going to hurt me, but
it has its advantages.
It does have its advantage. I'm able to put out a lot of damage in my archer form.
Well, I definitely kicked that. Yeah.
In the archer form, I'm able to put out a lot of damage as just a bonus action to D8 plus my wisdom.
Yeah, you did 11 damage just off that. And not only that, you think of Magnus's max damage, which was 21, I believe. And that's because his stats are crazy, because he did the same thing you did last campaign, which used the rolled character that 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So
it rolled stats instead of point buy, where everyone else in this campaign is point buy at the moment, except for that paladin.
Yeah. So because years ago, when we were moving to 5th edition, I always did you roll your stats. And I thought because we're jumping into 5th edition, I might get point by a go, which is my favorite way of playing the game. It just means that you can focus on the main stats you want, you can pick which one you want to have low, and you have a lot of flexibility. You don't have just a flat roll that you have to decide which place it goes.
It just makes it that you're not good at everything at level 1.
Yeah, and everyone else is. And yeah, point buy doesn't let you have 3 of a stat, but no one wants that. No one ever wants 3 or 6 generally.
Well, I've got 2 stats that are at 8.
Yeah, a lot of people go, well, one's if you want to be dumb, and it's like, just play dumb. We've seen that with a character with 8 intelligence. Very much seen that. So, yeah, so Magnus is actually using the stats that he rolled. There were only 2 people that did roll their stats and confirm it with me. It was Jordan. And you used yours last campaign. And it was very strong. And
no one died when I was around.
No. And I'm guessing that Magnus is going to be the same. He's going to be very strong. Later levels, it does matter less because everyone else catches up pretty quickly. Yeah. The difference between a plus 1 is not much.
After a couple like ability scores improvements,
yeah,
you pretty much close the gap a bit.
Yeah. So you're making your way onto level 3. I don't think you get much actually.
Me specifically,
yeah,
I don't think so. I might get
a wild shape.
I'm not entirely sure. Like first time playing Druid.
Yeah,
I don't exactly remember everything out of the book. I think I might get next level spell maybe.
Oh yes, you actually will. 3rd level is one of the level ups.
You get your 2 spells.
Yeah, second level spell, and with your Druid actually you get access to every spell in the book that you.
Every spell in the book, I just have to ready a certain amount every morning. Just like the cleric.
Is it morning or rest?
Or rest, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to have a look, but I'm pretty sure.
Have a look.
Every long rest.
Yeah. So you're a druid who's fighting with a scimitar. Now, generally, druids have a in-game rule that they don't use anything with metal.
Well, I didn't become a druid because nature. I became a druid by happenstance.
Yeah.
My character, his platoon got ambushed 2 years ago on the way to the nearest town to become guards. And I ended up running into the forest to try and break my line of sight with everything.
Yeah.
And I ended up running through what is called a Fey Passage. And I ended up in the Feywilds. Got stuck there for 2 years. One I pretty much found like this Aztec sort of thing that has like a pillow with this little gem in it. And that's pretty much what became my focus.
I didn't know. How do you?
You didn't?
That actually is really good.
I gave it. I sent you the PDF.
If you'd like to know, my players definitely send me PDFs, and I only refer to them when I need to. But also, I generally took video recordings of us talking about their backstory. I think your character was actually the only one who didn't.
I think that's exactly it. Yes.
You were originally going to play a wizard.
Yes, I was originally playing a scribe wizard.
But then after we did
a couple play tests, and at low levels, I just didn't really like it at low levels.
Yeah, I think certain classes are going to be like that, where you don't like their scaling, especially when you start, especially in a long campaign like we're playing now, where most players would hit level 5, or at least start at level 3 and get higher. As a wizard, you're stuck to your spells, and they better.
You essentially get cast a spell. That's it.
Yeah, and as a druid, it seems like you do a lot.
It's mostly the subclass.
Yeah,
because the subclass gives me all those bonus action abilities.
You went through and picked it, and by the looks of it too, because I never really heard of the subclass you're playing, which came out Tarches.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like not a lot of people actually played it, which seems really fun.
You've also only seen the archer form.
Yeah,
I have 2 other forms.
Yeah, which you can only do per a time that you wild shape. So it basically
instead of wild shaping into an animal, I can instead use a wild shape charge and go into my starry form.
That's pretty good. You get 2 charges at second.
Currently at two charges. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really good. So I think this current agglomeration, I think is the way you would say it, or just common collective of players is going to meld. I know outside you guys will meld very
Yes.
well, but the characters, the way they go, seems to be off to a well start.
I think we're gonna definitely the teamwork will build up over time. But I think currently they like at least the paladin maybe should just instead of just constantly want to go bonk something, assess the situation first,
Yeah.
and maybe if someone's down, instead of being I'm gonna go bonk this guy, maybe give a hand, at least some sort of a hand.
Yeah. There could be plenty of reasons
There
why he did
there are
that.
plenty of reasons why.
Well, have you watched the Friday group?
I haven't.
No. Okay,
There's a better
so
group.
I'll have no comment on that. But I will say this. When they actually got to the part where they got to talk, they did a lot of things. It was a different circumstance. Yours was fighting for your life. Theirs was that Kashmir, which is played by Maddie, she the crap out of some drunk people, and then a drow came and helped, and then it was kind of like at a weird standstill where they didn't know if they were going to continue fighting each other or not. But the three players, which was so you have Hex, which is played by Jacob, then you have Thandrel, which is played by Jacob, two different Jacobs. It's gonna get confusing. And then you had Zephyr, played by Dylan. They got well quite fine, but then you got to Kashmir, and she only joined the group if she could talk to the lord of the town, and also got paid. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how that actually goes about with it.
See how that group dynamic goes.
Yeah, well, seems to be a better start, but we don't know. So I think that concludes everything for tonight. And yeah, so thank you for tuning in. If you want to catch us, you can just join us on twitch.tv / ReadySetRoll _Oz. And we stream on Wednesday nights at 8:30. We stream your group of Dungeons and Dragons. And then on Fridays at the same time at 8:30 p.m., we stream a different group of players. And then on Monday nights at 8:30 as well, there'll be a Technical Difficulties podcast with myself and my co-host Jacob, which you can catch. And if you just click onto our YouTube, which you're probably watching this on, you'll find a plethora of other videos that we'll be uploading. But yes, so thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining me tonight.
All good.
Alrighty, and thank you.
Keep an eye out for the recurring character, the boulder.
All right. Bye, guys.
Maddie!